Yo, what's up guys, my name's Hakiii and here's an up-to-date best vehicle in each class in GTA Online. Some of these vehicle classes were so hard to pick just one, so I'm gonna have to include an honorable mention for some of them. Let's start hot with the Monitech vehicle. So the best Monitech vehicle is the Ocelot Virtue. In the older version of this video, I didn't even include a Monitech, so not only is the Monitech class one of the top ones and most important ones in the game arguably, but specifically with this car you can actually get it for absolutely free, and I'll tell you how. So originally you can buy the Virtue for just about $2.2 million, that's the buy it now price, but how you can actually get it for free is just by completing the first dose and the last dose missions, and then it's basically the prize you get for completing those set of missions. That's extremely worth it for a very good performing electric supercar like this one, and with a Monitech that you don't get with a lot of cars in the game, it takes a good amount of rockets to fully blow it up. It's got the armor plating, it's got the missile lock-on jammers, so no weaponized vehicles with homing missiles can lock onto you and blow you up that way. And it's also equipable with slick mines, so if someone's chasing you on land, you could just press down on the left stick to plant them in your tracks, and then as the person behind you drives over them, they just lose all control of their vehicle. Very useful car, highly recommend it. Now, I was torn about the Monitech vehicles since there's so many good ones, and so in the honorable mention spot for Monitech, it's going to be the Omnis EGT. It's also an electric vehicle, and it also has pretty similar performance to this one, but this one's a sports car, so it's a little less good. Both of these Monitech vehicles have fantastic acceleration, solid speed, and handling is pretty decent too, although it could drift around if you go a little bit too fast sometimes. It's pretty manageable though. So next up, we're gonna move into the off-road class. The Class A jogger comes out top of the pack with absolutely insane performance for an off-road vehicle. This is also by far the most futuristic looking off-road vehicle in the game. There's no other vehicle that looks even remotely close to it, and because of that, it's got a big variety of unique customization to go through, and as we said earlier, it's fast, it's got some solid handling, and if you're ever gonna go off-roading with friends, this is definitely one of the, if not the best option. The only real downside with it is the price, coming in at just under $1.9 million, but lucky for you, for the honorable mention in this video, it's gonna be something a lot more budget friendly. The Camacho is a great alternative, and it's only a few $100,000. It's like $345,000, so if you're on a budget, definitely go with the Camacho. If you have a bit more money to spend, the jogger is that vehicle. The Camacho also has a lot of customization, which is awesome. It's very fast, some decent handling. What's more worth it for the money? Definitely the Camacho, but the jogger is just the more expensive and still a very, very good option. And at the end of the day, both are awesome, so go and choose which one you like better yourself. The best C vehicle in the game is hands down the Kosatka. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. The best helicopter is the Sparrow. The Sparrow is a helicopter that you can only get through the Kosatka, so you actually need to buy a Kosatka first if you don't have the Sparrow, and it is pretty worth it. One, because, I mean, you have the Kosatka for the Cayo Perico heist, but two, focusing on helicopters, the Sparrow is the quickest helicopter in the game. It's extremely fast, it's very lightweight. At the same time, it is weaponized. You can equip homing missiles on it, which is awesome, and it's got flare countermeasures, so if someone locks onto you with missiles, you can use that to defend yourself. Not to mention, it is extremely convenient as well. It's the most convenient vehicle out there, really, if you're looking for an air vehicle, that is, because you can spawn it right next to you at any time through the interaction menu. It spawns super quick, within like a second, just like that, it magically appears next to you, and it's a lot of people's go-to vehicle just because it's so easy to spawn it in, and it's extremely fast, and it's weaponized, and all of the above. It acts as only an extension to the Kosatka, so to buy the Sparrow, you actually need to go into the Kosatka upgrades, and then it's going to cost you about $1.8 million. A more budget-friendly option is the Buzzard. It's also a pretty convenient helicopter. You can actually call it in through the interaction menu through the CEO menu. The Sparrow would be in the Kosatka menu in service vehicles. The next vehicle category is one of my favorites in the game, hands down, police cars. This one's a relatively new one with the Chop Shop DLC, and I love the customization of police cars especially. Obviously, this category isn't too big. I mean, we only have the Stay Near LE Cruiser, the Unmarked Cruiser, the Police Riot Van, and the Gauntlet Interceptor. The Interceptor is definitely the best one, both in performance and I would say also in looks. I think everyone can agree the Interceptor looks a lot better than the other police vehicles. The police cars have basically the same customization, so the only thing that differentiates them is looks and then the performance. That's the only difference, and the Interceptor takes the cake in both of those categories. It's basically the Gauntlet Hellfire in a police police car version. I'm kind of surprised they didn't just name it a new version of the Hellfire, like the police Hellfire or the Hellfire Cruiser, whichever one. Awesome vehicle right there. The Hellfire is already a super appreciated muscle car in the GTA community, and I mean in the car community in general, so making a police version of it was definitely the right move by Rockstar. With that said, what wasn't the greatest move by Rockstar is to price this thing at around 5 to 10 times the price of the normal Hellfire. The normal Hellfire goes for just under $750,000, and the Interceptor is a whopping $5.4 million for buy it now. The trade price is significantly cheaper, but still extremely expensive at over $4 million, but on average, the police cars are by far the most expensive car class in the whole game, or vehicle class. And it's not even close, because every single police vehicle is at least a few $1,000,000. In the motorcycles class, this one was a tough one. There's a lot of really good motorcycles that are all top tier. Choosing one out of all of them was definitely a challenge, but I'm gonna go with the Western Power Surge. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it might be the only electric motorcycle there is. It's completely silent, so it's definitely really different from your average motorbike. I decided to stuff several bikes in the honorable mentions for motorcycles, so one is a budget-friendly one, which is the Batty 801. It's only 15,000 bucks in the Southern San Andreas Super Autos website. It's extremely worth the price. Another good one is the Shinobi, but that's gonna be a few $1,000,000. It's a great all-around motorcycle though. Specifically for off-roading, the best off-roading bike is the BF400. It's also pretty cheap. I believe it's under 100,000 bucks. And finally, also a bike in the Western family, the Western Reaver is another good one. Next up is the sports class. The Tally GTO is still the king of sports cars, and it is top tier, especially for sports car races. It's a very cool looking car. It handles much better than the other top tier sports cars. Handles better than the Pariah, handles better than the Tally RSX. That's my personal preference, because if the only thing you care about is speed, then the Pariah and the RSX are a little better. And I feel like the Tally GTO has the best balance between speed and handling. The honorable mention for this one is the Panad Lacroix. It's an electric sports car and it's fairly new. Moving on to supercars, this was also a pretty challenging one just because there's so many good ones. I gotta go with, if you want to call it, the defending champion of the supercars class, the Benefactor Krieger. It's an all-wheel drive supercar that's a lot of people's go-to supercar for races, and similar to the situation with the Tally GTO in the sports class, the Krieger also has a great balance between speed and handling. There's faster supercars for top speed solely, but usually those super high top speed supercars don't have the greatest handling. And for the honorable mention of the supers class, I went with the LM87. It's got some crazy traction. I could have easily also gone for a car like the Emirates or let's say the Devasty 8, but as I said, this class is extremely competitive, so it's tough to choose sometimes. Then for the best plane in the game, we got the F-160 Raiju. It's got vertical flying, it's got horizontal flying, so if you want it to act like a helicopter, it could do that. If you want it to act like a plane, which it is, it could also do that. The VTOL capabilities are really rare to see in the game. I believe only the Raiju and the Hydra have it. All you do for it is just press right D-pad, and then it literally changes the whole function of how the plane moves. Not to mention, it's an extremely fast air vehicle. If you want to get around the map, this is the fastest vehicle you can do it in, and it's got all the weapons you need on it. Of course, the homing missiles along with the explosive cannon. Then moving into a pretty unique category, which is only available on the current gen consoles, so the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S, and that's the HSW class. These are vehicles that you can go to the LS car meet with and then just put enhanced performance upgrades, which makes them a lot better, of course. The best vehicle in this class, I chose the Hakiii Drag. It's my go-to vehicle for HSW races, so it's an easy $250,000 every single time you complete the time trial. It's actually a perfect vehicle for it, highly recommend it. And then an honorable mention for HSW, this was a tough one, but I'm gonna go with the HSW Cyclone 2. It's got some insane acceleration. If you think I forgot about the muscle car class, don't you worry, the Buffalo STX is definitely the king of the muscle car class. I don't even think this one's debatable. The Buffalo STX is so good in performance. It's got great speed, it's got great handling, and it destroys any other muscle car in performance, especially for races. This is the #1 vehicle you want to use, and along with amazing performance, it's got some solid customization, and when it comes to the looks of the car, that's up to personal opinion. I feel like most people do like it though. The best car for drifting is the ZR ZR350. I'm not talking about drifting in general, just because there's a lot of really good drifting cars, but with the relatively new drift car races, the ZR350 is a good car for it. Don't know enough about it, but I have played it a little bit, and it is actually quite fun. There isn't that big of a selection for the amount of drift cars you can use in those races, but out of the few, the ZR350 should do the job for you. Now moving into SUVs, the best SUV, which is also kind of like a defending champion of this class, is the Toros. This Lamborghini SUV is not only stunning, but it's also insanely fast for an SUV. It's so fast that when you get near that top speed, it is pretty hard to control this vehicle, and understandably so, but it's actually kind of fun because then you could get a big crash going at like 150 or 200 miles per hour, whatever the top speed of it is. Plus, it's actually pretty affordable, sitting at just under $500,000, so very good value for the money. And an honorable mention for the SUVs class is the Novak, also a pretty affordable option. Of course, there's other vehicle classes in GTA, but I don't think people care too much about like the sedans class or the coupes class. Therefore, I think I covered all of the ones that people actually care about. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you're new with the bell on so you don't miss any more awesome GTA videos like these ones. You do not want to miss them. At the start of the video, we mentioned a Monitech, so click the video on screen now for the best Monitech vehicles in the game. There's a lot of them. I hope you all enjoy that video, and peace.